I'm just going to read this tweet. This is from Nicki Minaj. Okay, she's the singer. My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. She has a point, right? Like this is legitimate.
I can't even comment. I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
This should go in the. Is there a Parthenon or is it a Panthenon? Can't remember the word. Some big fancy word. Going on.
There's both.
But I'm using it's going on the.
Figuratively as Pantheon. Yeah.
It's going on the Pantheon of something. I need to read up on my phrases and things like that. Of course, right after these doctors, I'm a board certified urologist and this is not true. Well, I don't think you can. Do we really have enough information to say that this is not true? Just last week, there was information that came out that said the government was putting out a contract to study the long-term implications of the COVID vaccine on the menstrual cycle. What? After we've given this to millions of people? We're not going to do that before? So I don't think you can definitively say, Dr. Ashley Winter, urologist, that this is not a potential side effect from the COVID vaccine. Like what? We're in another alternate reality now that possibly, I say possibly, I have to hedge my bets here. Nicki Minaj is giving us better medical advice than Dr. Fauci.
Yeah. Check with your, study it out. Check with your, whatever belief you have. Pray to God. Look within. Consult with some people that you think are in the know. But don't just take the drug and shut the hell up. That seems a little a little bit authoritarian.
So she has something in here that, in light of recent events, makes a lot of sense to me. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. That is legitimately golden advice. Explain. More than you already have.
Me explain?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Well, yeah, it's not saying I'm anti-vax. It's not saying that this is a horrible thing. Don't do it. It's saying look at some different information and don't just take the tagline. I mean, if something is that great and that wonderful, people would just leap at the opportunity to take it, right? And if there were counter arguments to that, then the proponents of the vaccine would come back and say, okay, yeah, let's look at those concerns. Let's take those one by one and attempt to come to some accord about them. Here's our data. Let's check our data against the things that you're seeing from other sources, instead of, oh, that's just misinformation. Dismissed. We don't even need to argue it. It's already been, Lord Fauci has already anointed this vaccine as the greatest savior since Jesus Christ. And so take the drug and shut the hell up.
The advice can also be applied to Minaj, so many other areas. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Nicki Minaj is just saying, look, don't be bullied by these campaigns and this idea that other points of view are somehow constitute misinformation. Misinformation that's just a convenient, lazy way to get out of having a real discussion and a debate about something, and in the process try to allay fears that or concerns that really reasonable, rational people may have about the vaccine. You know,
So much
they
of
don't
what
even
I
want to have the
see that
discussion.
so much of what I see that's labeled as misinformation is not usually misinformation. It's just a different take of different numbers, a different point of view. Hey, I'm a doctor. I've treated hundreds of people with this protocol, and nobody died from COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe we should look into this. Oh, that's misinformation. Oh, well, I've got studies on vitamin D and zinc and all these things. Sorry, misinformation. You can only talk about the vaccine. I mean,
Yeah.
we're seeing one of the biggest mind control operations in history being effectuated right before our eyes, and it's quite a thing to see. It's quite a thing to see people that you love and care about swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. Now, I mean, what she says here, so just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision and not bullied. That can be applied to so many other things, not just the vaccine. So I was saying this is gold. I really think this is a good advice that we've kind of talked about before in a number of different ways, that people use peer pressure and the science and the doctors, and they use these people who are in positions of authority to try to get you to do something that you probably wouldn't do otherwise. And so it's a really big thing, and I think that's the Nicki Minaj story. So her cousin's friend's testicles became swollen. Now that then she went off. So she got called out by the media. The media, again, was telling lies. They were things that were factually inaccurate about why she wasn't going to go to this Met Gala that we're going to talk about in a minute. And so then she's being kind of red pilled, so to speak, right now as we read this. What were you going to say?
Oh, a million things. Yeah, no, she's a media darling too, normally, right? So when she comes out and says something like this, but I was going to go back to the misinformation thing. Really, it's just missing information. More information's always better. And if it is actual false information, then demonstrate that. Let's have that argument. Let's discuss that. But it has become, they don't even have to say it's false information. They just say it's misinformation, which is misleading. This is what people are, yeah, there's bound to be some false information for sure. But, misinformation, that's a complete mischaracterization of what's going on. Misinformation is actually missing information. It's missing from the discussion.